this is Dear Damson, and today I am going to do another cupcake tutorial, and the trace will be available for you absolutely free on my Facebook page. But if you have easy time sketching, pretty much what you have is a trapezoid for the bottom part and few ovals for the top part and a circle for the cherry and the 2 blueberries. And before we begin, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so you get notifications for our future videos. The colors that I will be using: yellow, ochre, orange, blue, 2 different reds and black. And also on the end I will be using a permanent marker with a fine point. You can use a Sharpie or Pilot or whatever you have. The only thing is just make sure your canvas is dry. So the cupcake bottom part, I used dry on dry, and after I added the lines, I went with a clean wet brush over and softened all the edges of all the colors I added. I am mixing red and white for the frosting, and it's creating that pink, very soft pink and very transparent. For the shadow this time, I'm using blue and a little bit of black to get that much darker, deeper shadow. And pretty much that just helps to ground your object, to make it seem like it's sitting on the surface, not just floating. And again, we are going to add a little bit more shadow on the scallopy and on the top too, just to give it a little more depth. The same thing, I'm adding shadow underneath the frosting, a little bit heavier than everywhere else. And for the cherry, that is super simple because I added kind of a C for the red part, and then I ran clean brush over the part that was left white to give that highlight on the top. Now a lot of times I will add few different layers, so the first layer is going to be much softer than the layers that are coming. They're going to kind of pop the colors more. And if you see here, like for example, I had one area going into to another area, so I just dabbed with a napkin on that area to take the water away, and it absolutely works. So if that happens, you can use a napkin and stop the color of shifting in an area where you don't want it. So this little guys will be blueberries, and in one point I'm just gonna add a tiny little plus sign on one side to make it look more like a blueberry. So it's very it's like a illustration versus a realistic painting, and this is why we're going to add the marker on the end, so we're gonna make that image pop. So I'm using a little bit of purple for the pink shadows and also for the red shadows. And I'm trying to leave very light areas on the frosting and the cup of the cupcake, so it looks a lot more three-dimensional. Now with the background, you don't have to add a background. I am adding a background just to pull some colors out, and the reason why I'm adding yellow is because I want to pull the cupcake out and also the bottom part of the cupcake. We have very strong colors on the top, so I'm not worried about that area too much. Now with the Sharpie, like if you see, I am not going and making one perfect line. I'm just adding a little bit here and there line where it needs a little more emphasis on certain areas, but it's not a line that does not stop. And of course on the end we're gonna go around, clean up a little bit, and add a little more color to those blueberries here. but pretty much this is one cute little cupcake, and the size that I painted is 5 by 7, so it will fit perfectly into a 5 by 7 envelope, which will be awesome for anybody's birthday. And even though I added the Sharpie, I am going back and adding a little bit more color. Now you have to be careful with the markers that you're using, because some of the markers might start getting dissolved with water, so you don't want that. But pretty much that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell, and happy painting. We'll see you next week.